VCR Podcast with your host, Vish.
They're just bastardizing our childhood and the classics.
Chris.
Nintendogs drove me. It's what makes me want to hurt people.
Radical.
People in general still bitch about everything. It still doesn't change.
Let the podcast begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the VCR Podcast, episode 47 of the only podcast that predates itself in the moment the title is spoken. But for today, it is officially the Spider Cat Podcast because there is nothing else important going on in the world today now that we have this amazing fucking news.
That's all we
Holy
needed.
shit.
That's all we ever wanted.
It's
It is.
everything we could ever ask for.
To paraphrase our good friend Adam Trump, it's totally phenomenal.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. The most amazing thing possible.
No, that's a pussy you grab and cuddle it.
I'm gonna just quickly drift away from that. just for the sake of, a little bit of sanity here. I know that's not saying much, but I gotta try once in a while.
Sanity and us, that doesn't make any sense, dude.
I know, I really should have been careful of what I wish for.
100%. 100%.
Well, as you
Never
can see on the stream here, if you are watching in video form, we do have Vish and Chris, although Chris is only here in audio form. He is a bit under the weather, so, he figured, I'm still going to let you, suffer through my voice, but maybe I won't show you my face for one more week.
So,
Yeah, I have a reputation.
Explain to everyone what's going on. Chris has the T virus.
Yes. I am patient zero.
So would you
But
say that
also,
he's seeing stars?
stars.
You're a nemesis.
Yeah.
God. Oh, if I was well enough to do a shot for everything you guys just said, I'd already be hammered.
Perfect.
Okay, so is it one day like we're just gonna let loose and like just make a bunch of bad video game puns and whoever last has to take a drink one day?
No. That would be a horrible idea.
I love how
Yeah.
Adam's initial reaction is no, and in my head, I'm like, this sounds like the greatest day I've ever known or will
Yeah.
know. Let's do it.
Yeah, Chris and I may or may not be dead that day, that night.
Well, I
No
finally
telling
figured out how to get rid of him. You know what? Maybe we should do that podcast one day.
The video game pun podcast. Who dies first, Chris or Fish?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask the Vegas odds on that one first.
Yeah, even I don't know
Vegas
anymore.
is like we have to send our numbers to NASA.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, they're doing it.
So yeah. Let's start off with the intro, the things that we have been doing up as of late. So let's start with Sicky over here. Chris, what have you been up to this week?
So I haven't had
aside
too
from
much-
being miserable, I should say.
Aside from being miserable, I haven't had too much time really to game, just because not only am I sick, but going through a bit of a move and everything, moving to a new home eventually and all this other stuff. So I've been quite busy. Because of that, I had unhooked my computer and Steam from my life until today when I just hooked it back up. And even then, because I'm sick, I couldn't even really play anything.
So
It
how's the
was,
withdrawal
Dude,
going?
How are you
the
not
withdrawal
dead?
for Steam. Well, I've been active on Steam on my phone in the community in the sense of people on my friends list posting screenshots and me liking them. It's
Dude.
kept me slightly alive.
Dude, I still you didn't answer my question. How are you not
No.
dead?
How I'm really staying alive, it was the one bit of video gaming I could do, which was my Switch, because obviously that can be
Okay.
portable. That's what was truthfully keeping me alive.
Animal Crossing or
No, there was one game I have on there, which I think I mentioned it very briefly before, but it's Wargroove. It's a indie game that's based. It's basically a like for what the heck was that called? Advance
Wars, yeah.
Yeah, on Game Boy Advance.
It's almost like a top-down strategy game. It's all in a way it's sort of like Risk, but a little more in depth. I mean, obviously,
that's
people
the-
who know
oh,
Fire
yeah,
Emblem, it's
I
kind of like
remember
that.
one.
Yep, Fire Emblem, kind of like that, a little bit like Final Fantasy.
That game sounded like a lot of fun.
It's very
it is.
chill.
Yeah, it's very chill, minus the fact that this game is turned up to 11 in difficulty. Normal mode is actually called extreme. Like they just went right for like the game defaults to it. And at first you think like, oh wow, like I beat this level, I got 3 out of 3 stars, rank level S. That's amazing. I'm gonna be able to do this. And then there's 7 chapters to the story. And it's not like a giant awesome story. Like each chapter only has 5 big battles and then you're on the next chapter and everything. But you hit like so there's the prologue and then you hit chapter 1 and all of a sudden the game just fucking fists you right in the ass and it's like haha, good luck. So
And
I
what-
turned the
Did
difficulty
it even
down.
buy you breakfast?
No, nothing.
What
Like
the
it
fuck?
just raw dogged with its fist. But yeah, I had to turn the difficulty down, and as I keep going, especially when I was sick, it's like I don't have time to be frustrated. Slowly the difficulty would be put down one more. Excuse me, because I'd like be doing a level 20 minutes in, and then finally all of a sudden I die. Like I just get attacked in this like crazy, like the AI just like seems to just know how to
That's-
just screw you in 1 second.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, do you want to retry? And it even gives you the option before retrying. Do you want to change the difficulty? And a couple times I'm like, yes, put it down.
Is it just that difficult, or were you just a little disorientated that you?
No,
drank more?
it's they created the game to be very difficult. It's not unwinnable. It's because it's all strategy. It's just you have to have a really good strategy, and each level you are a different commander. So every time you start a level, you don't know their special attack. and some of the units might be a little different and that kind of stuff, and you don't know the strategy of who you're attacking. So I think it's meant that you're supposed to take 2 or 3 attempts per level, and then you'll
Okay.
finally beat it, and you're like, "Fuck yeah." And every time you get stars in each level, kind of like Angry Birds, but obviously a little different. The stars that you earn are currency for unlocking certain things. There's a
I
puzzle mode where you have a board with enemies, and you have to win in 1 round. And they've made it that you can win in 1 round, but that you can only do it one exact way. So each character has to attack a specific other character and do a specific attack, and you have to figure it all out. So there's a lot of like cool stuff in there, but I'm mostly just doing the campaign and getting through it. I'm only about halfway. I think I'm a couple missions into chapter 4 of 7.
I would just, as soon as I get a star when it's done, be like, okay, good, I'm done.
Yeah, I've
The
been
one,
getting 1 or 2 stars for most of the levels.
Yeah,
Because when you put
I
the
drag
difficult
some maps along a long time just so that way I don't lose people.
Yeah, that's the
so
thing. Because if
this
you lose
is
people, you go down stars.
this is the funny thing is like this is one of those games that like you're angry at it, you want to break your console, you want to yell, scream, shout, and everything, but you're not going to stop playing it. You're not even going to bother putting it down. This is like, okay, this is my life now.
It's actually
Just-
very addicting because you lose,
That's the
but
problem.
because it's not like you lost unfairly, you just chose the wrong
Mhm.
strategy, and now you know a bit more about, like, what the AI's tactics are. You immediately are like, "I'm going back in there and I'm fucking this up. Like, I'm going to take this guy down." And, like, I've never quit, like, I always have it where I finally beat a mission, then I'm willing to put it down. Like, I've never had it where I lost and I was like, "Okay, I'll put it down." Hell no. I've gone back in. And even with only being on chapter 4, I think I'm, like, almost 20 hours into the game. Like, it's only gonna take, like, 30 something hours to beat, but, it's not, like, very short by any means, even on easy difficulty, which
But
I'm down to, like, the 2nd easiest.
and I mean, it's definitely a game that, like, if you're just playing on Switch, like, you can definitely pop that on, like, just before you go to bed and just play, like, one game and just be
Yeah,
happy with it.
and one of the amazing things with, like, the new console generation, I think PS4 and Xbox One actually already has this, but, like, the Switch has is it where you can basically pause right in the game, like, you don't have to hit a save point and stuff. If you just turn the Switch off, it saves right where you are, so when you pick up the Switch, press a button, you're still in the game right where you left off. So it's not even like
Hmm.
if I was playing this on PC, I'd have to beat a level, hit save, exit out. It's just like I'm halfway into a battle and I really need to stop. Just tap, put the console asleep, and when I pick it up, I'm still halfway in that battle. Like this is one of those games where that is a feature I could not live without because of the frustration and the length of some of these
Yeah.
battles. And they're only getting longer. Every one seems a little bit longer than the last.
Oh.
But I love it, and it's got
Uh,
a Game Boy Advance look to it. So I mean, Super Nintendo also very much similar, right? So, excuse me. But yeah, the aesthetic, I love the retro style. I tried it on my TV though, and it's like I didn't like it as much because I was like, man, this is just a Game Boy Advance game blown up on the TV. This definitely is like playing Switch portably, and that's why I thought with this move and everything, start playing Wargroove because it's perfect portable, and I wouldn't want to play it any other way.
I wonder if it's on mobile devices. It would make a lot of sense to do that.
It would. It really
this
would.
actually would be a really good game for mobile.
Yeah, and apparently it has a huge, um, like, online presence because you can play online with people anywhere and build your own maps. So our friend that, like, nobody listening will know, but all of our friend Kyle that we know,
Mhm.
Monster Drink Kyle that we obviously know, I saw on the Switch, he's 110 hours in because he plays online with people.
Wow.
And when you play online with people, there's no such thing as difficulty. It's who are you playing against and how good are they? So there's a huge, like, map building community and online presence that technically, if you love these battles, you could have this as like a pick up and play every so often thing all the time, and mobile would be amazing for that. And it's cross play from everything. So if you guys picked it up on, say, PS4, I could pick up the Switch and we could do a quick battle back and forth for 20 minutes.
But most
It's an
importantly,
amazing game.
there's a dog.
Oh, Caesar. Yeah, and, there's a bunch of side missions, and you play as the dog as the commander, and his are actually the fucking hardest. One of them is, a village that has just this waves of bandits coming in, and you have to just ensure that none of the villagers die. And it was fucking hard because it's just infinite spawning of all these enemies, and you start with like 4 guys and $100 and a dog. Like what the dog's actually pretty powerful and awesome, but still, either way.
It is the dog Akima
No,
or Akimo
he's
or
just a
what's that?
big
What was that anime dog game for PS2?
Oh, Okami.
Okami.
Okami, yes. Is it Okami?
No, he does not look like a
Okay.
wolf. He looks like a big lab. That it's dopey, but I love him.
So you
I don't
wanna
know.
go while you're playing? You like, I'm only mad because I can't hug you IRL.
Yeah, the dog doesn't even do anything in the game. When you play as him, he has 2 commanders in front of him, and all he does is he barks, smiles, hearts go up in the air, and the commanders do whatever he says because he's adorable.
I mean,
Which
wouldn't you
just
do what the
makes me
dog
more
tells you to
happy.
do?
I 100%, I would kill for that dog. I would kill another human being in battle, regardless if I was innocent or not, or they were innocent or not. I would do it.
So in other words, he has 2 John Wicks with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
But yeah, that's literally all I've been playing. That's it, just the one game, and it's a lot of fun. I suggest it if you guys ever can pick it up. I got it on Steam for $1. I know that, so you guys could do the same.
So it is
Probably.
available on Steam.
Yep.
Steam,
I got
Switch,
it. I got it through
PS4,
Game
Xbox
Pass.
One.
That's where I've been playing it on the
It's
little bit
on
that I
Game
played.
Pass. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, really, really, really fun time waster that has very pleasing graphics if you like the retro look.
I honestly like that because that feels like a game as
Yeah.
opposed to like
Oh yeah.
it just feels like
It's definitely rooted in like the older nostalgia we would get from like the kind of games that we
Yeah.
would play like back on like early PC days with like Super Nintendo era.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
It
100%.
definitely brings up
Yeah.
those like old school like just fun memories of it.
Yeah. And so highly suggested, but I'm only halfway, but I don't imagine it's going to change between now and when I finish it. I feel like it's going to be the same thing, just like each level slightly bigger than the last.
Each lover slightly bigger than the last.
Each lover, each single one. So yeah, I guess we'll switch over now to someone else, huh? Who's gonna describe their week next?
I don't have much to say, so I guess I'll go. Is
Sure.
that okay, Adam, or do you want to go?
I mean, I don't think much of us have anything. I only got one thing as well, so you can go ahead.
So so right now I'm just, as I mentioned last week, I got some really good news and to help me out in my personal and professional life. So I have actually been rearranging my basement. As you can see here, I have a different setup than my usual that I have for the podcast. I got a new
His head still
webcam.
takes up almost the entire shot. That still hasn't changed.
Yes. Yeah. In all fairness, my forehead is 4 fingers tall, and I'm 5'9".
There's
so
a
without
joke in there
alcohol-
that I'm just gonna leave alone on this one.
No, you know what? I want you to say it.
No.
Please.
Keep
Please,
going.
I
No.
want you to.
Nope.
No.
Go for it.
Please, I want you to. I want you to. Please.
That's not the only thing that he's got that's only 4 fingers long. Heyo.
Nice. Not bad. Not bad. Anyways, okay, so I've been rearranging my basement to just optimize it better for my own stuff, for the podcast, for my own content, because I now have the ability to actually focus on it a little more, as mentioned. And also creating my home gym, because frankly, I'm not comfortable going to the gym yet. That's the one place I'm just not okay with going. And it's weird because that's usually it was like my safe space. It was like my go-to. It was like my sanctuary. It's just like I go there and I can just nothing else matters there. And unfortunately right now that's the one place I feel is probably the most dangerous to go at a time like this. That's just my opinion on it. So I've been fixing up and organizing the basement and just optimizing it a little more. And hopefully, when we're allowed to hang out again and we can have parties better here, like we used to have.
What are those?
It's
Right?
when you It's when there's no restrictions and you can actually have fun with people you care about and see them again and enjoy yourself.
This doesn't sound like anything we've ever
Yeah.
done. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's been so long.
Yeah, I know. It literally fucking feels like that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Oh,
it really does.
well, I like your setup, by the way. For
party.
anybody watching the video version of this, it is.
No,
I like the
I'm
new
pretty happy.
angles.
I got
It needs more cowbell.
Oh, that's what I
Cowbell?
thought. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, something's missing. It
You
needs
know
more
what,
cowbell.
I think I'm gonna need some more cowbell there, Vish.
the funny
Because
thing
I
is
got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell.
Okay, I'm not understanding the reference.
He doesn't know
Oh.
the SNL reference. Oh
Oh, it's an
shit!
SNL skit.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I'm not a big SNL
I don't know.
watcher.
I don't know much of SNL, but that's one of those things. It's like that and Celebrity
Yeah.
Jeopardy are two things because it's both Will Ferrell.
Okay,
Will Ferrell with
okay,
it's Christopher Walken and Will Ferrell. It's fucking great.
Yeah, it's a
Celebrity
great skit.
Jeopardy
You have to watch.
is a different thing. It's
Well,
it's,
the gist of the entire skit is that Will Ferrell is somehow the cowbell player with the Blue Oyster Cult when they're recording "Don't Fear the Reaper."
Oh yeah.
And Christopher Walken just keeps
saw
like,
that.
no, I'm gonna need some more cowbell on this. So just Will Ferrell just endlessly just be like,
I thought
it's just fucking great.
Actually, it was funny because after I saw that clip of that, I'm like,
Oh, so he does know the
you know
clip.
no, I know that. So after that, I was like, you know what? You know what I feel like listening to the original "Don't Fear the Reaper" because it's such a good song. And so I put it on Spotify the next day just because it's such a good song. And then so after with rearranging the basement and just I'm not done. It actually like I had to remove the treadmill, which was an absolute nightmare to do. I actually like sliced my toe pretty badly from it.
Good. That's what you get for not watching The Expanse, motherfucker.
I'll get to that part of what I haven't done. So yeah, that's really I've just been focusing on like trying to prepare myself for some like near future things, so I can just really focus on all this shit. And then I did watch a show, and it's definitely a lot more feminine than my usual stuff. I'm probably gonna get ripped by the guys, and pretty much all of our listener to who are hearing about this. I watched a show on Netflix called Chris and I went out with a friend of mine, and my friend recommended the show. It's called Emily in Paris. So I decided to give it a try. It wasn't bad at all. It's actually pretty good, and I didn't like how it ended, just because it just felt very rushed how it ended. It's about a girl who is from Chicago who gets an opportunity to work in Paris. And it's kind of a reverse thing because usually you hear about the immigrant coming to America and trying to find their way in America. This time it's the American going to a foreign land and trying to find their way in a foreign land. And there's such a gigantic culture shock that she gets in Paris. It's like she says, and like one day, she was just having a regular conversation, like talking like the way we talk and everything. And the French are like, "Why are you shouting?" And literally just talking just the way we're talking. And then she's like, "Hi, I'm Emily. I'm sorry, I don't know French." Somebody walked out of the meeting, be like, "Oh, she doesn't know English." Just walked out. So it gets a lot better as it goes along. You find like she's very resilient. She is determined. She's really trying to make her way there. She's really trying to prove herself, being like, you know what, I can do this. I can make it here. It's it's an easy watch, and I think a lot of people would actually enjoy it. Again, it was a lot more feminine than what I'm usually watching.
Not that
but
that's a bad thing.
no, it's not. And as I mentioned, it was well done. It wasn't just the ending. I thought was it was a little too rushed. But for me, there was a lot of social media marketing involved with it. So I kind of looked at it as like a career interest as well. So I'm like, oh, these are actually interesting ideas, and you know what, these could actually work in real life
You,
because
you
these are
should be
very
studying the
volatile.
Fall Guys account for social media marketing if you want to talk about some good
Oh,
social
yeah.
media practice.
Huh. You know what? I'll actually
100%.
start.
Fall Guys
once I'm done,
and the Wendy's Twitter.
The Wendy's Twitter is legendary. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
They are so ballsy. It's like, what the fuck? Did they actually just say that?
Yep.
But one thing that's coming out this week, and we're all going to be discussing it next week because it's on Prime. Borat 2 comes out on Friday, and I cannot fucking
Well,
wait.
you guys can have fun about that one. I'm not going to be watching that.
Really?
Nah.
100% watch it.
I really didn't enjoy the first one much.
What? You
It-
are literally the only person who didn't enjoy it.
It's because I have a real issue with like awkward humor, which is what a lot of what his stuff is. It's for the same reason that I don't like a lot of the like, do you remember like Just for Laugh gags that it would always used to be on the Comedy Network all the time?
Oh, I love.
I
those,
hate those
man.
because I hate it when you fuck with people. Because like I know how uncomfortable that would make me if some random jackass in public like just did some really weird shit. Like, yeah, I'd laugh afterwards, but like I'm watching it there being like, I feel so bad for these people because they have no fucking clue.
Well, in all fairness, like the ones who are on television actually do sign a waiver.
Well, yeah,
to,
afterwards, but generally speaking, like it's done to people without them knowing.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then they sign
I
after,
get
yeah.
that.
See,
and-
it works more with Jackass because generally speaking, Jackass does it more to embarrass themselves. It's not like they go to random people.
Jackass
They will
takes it
screw with
way
people,
too
but they're more
far,
likely to do stuff that just makes them look stupid than it will to be like to actually mess with
Wait,
with another
though.
fan.
In one Jackass movie, the guy went into fucking Home Depot and took a shit in the display toilet. Can you imagine a poor fucking employee who has to clean that literal shit?
Oh, they probably took the toilet for it. They wouldn't have done that to him. Like,
Yeah,
there's
I
different
thought-
ones though where they like what's his name? Chris Pontius goes into the fucking department store and boxes Butterbean. Like that again, that doesn't fuck with anybody in the store. It's just something. It's like something to watch. That's the kind of public stuff that I do enjoy because it's more like
Yeah,
you're watching
I get
entertainment.
what you're saying. It's like these guys are humiliating themselves in front of people rather than playing victim like on Punked, where Ashton Kutcher, but they're celebrities though, Eddie Punks.
But either way,
So-
I like it better that way. With Borat, I found like it definitely crossed a few lines when I watched it. I'm like, ooh, okay, that might be pushing it.
Yeah, this one, Sacha Baron Cohen, from what I've read on IMDb, wore a bulletproof vest in some places because he legitimately his life was in danger for this one. So I cannot wait to see it because on another thing, I think this movie is going to like really influence the election.
You
really
wonder why
think
they
so.
put it out just before, right? It's not like there could have been a reason
Yeah.
for it.
Yep. So let's see what happens. And I've only seen Emily in Paris, which again I honestly would recommend it if you're. It's a light watch. And there's probably going to be a season 2, and it's frankly it was a well done show. It's you know what it's about someone trying to make it in this world and persevering and going through hardships and making a name for themselves, and it was well done. But it's you know what it's when someone comes to America, when an immigrant comes to America, and a lot of people, or like North America actually, and people will shit on them for not knowing the culture, the language, and everything. It was a switch around, and it's like, you know what, it works both ways. So be kind. That's all I'll say. Be kind to-
I want to be like, okay, that's great, but I can't help myself. You know what else is a really good show, but persevering and overcoming hardship?
The Expanse, or what's it called, Man in the High Castle.
Damn it, he took my joke away. It was gonna be. I thought he was just gonna say The Expanse. It was gonna be like, yes, but also Man in the High Castle because you overcome
No,
Nazis too.
no, I'm definitely as I mentioned, I'm gonna I again, these are a bunch of things I have on the go, and
Like
I
gaming
think
for the
I'll
gaming
have some
podcast.
time- I think I'll have some time next week to actually put some time into it. The only game I've really been playing and just to like chill out once in a while, just like kill some time, is Uno on the PS4. And sometimes that game will make you question if you want to throw your fucking controller to the TV.
Yeah, you
or
just
not.
said you were here to chill and you're playing Uno. Okay, well you're a
Yeah, I
fucking
know.
idiot.
I know. Yeah, I know. Okay, I can't even defend myself on that part. But
So keep that in mind, everybody, that on a show about gaming, the one thing he's doing, just so you guys know that he's so hip and cool and in depth with all the gaming stuff, is he's playing fucking Uno.
Yep. So that's
He's a
all
true
I have.
gamer.
And,
He plays Candy Crush.
Actually, yeah, one of these days it'll be like, I played Uno and Brick Breaker, and we'll be like, bravo.
Yeah, I did that last week, and I nearly threw my controller through the television. Believe it or
It's
not,
funny
mainly because of
it's
fucking
true. It is so
Brick Breaker.
frustrating. But it's
Brick
also
Breaker.
funny because Adam's joke just got further because he's like, "Oh, he's gonna play Brick Breaker," and Vishal, you're like, "Yeah, I did that last week."
Yeah, and there was nearly
Oh.
a hole in my television. So that's all I have, I guess. Jackass. I mean, Adam, what have you been doing?
I've been playing real
Oh.
games, I'll have you know. So,
Go
Candy
on.
Crush. Candy Crush.
apart from obviously
Madden,
what I've been doing
Madden.
lately, I said real games, not games that fuck you up the ass. Actually, technically, this game did fuck up people up the ass, but I didn't play that part of it. So, I
Did
finally
you
finished.
Game?
I finally finished the Battlefront 2 campaign in full. So at least I got that out of the way. It's one of the weirder streams I've done because as soon as I finished the campaign, I got really sick and threw up periodically for about an hour. So I immediately went to Twitter and be
Motion
like, all right,
sickness
guys. So look, I just finished my Star Wars Battlefront campaign run and I just had to go throw up for an hour. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the game, but
It's the campaign.
I'm holding out
You
that
just
maybe the
didn't
game
like-
caused something in me. It definitely wasn't motion sickness because Lord knows I would have been fucking throwing up every day of my life at this point.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you're
true. This game
especially
was
with
like,
Destiny, because you play Destiny a lot.
Well, I've been playing a lot of first person stuff, so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. But the core of the story, and last week I said it on the podcast when I did the first half. First half was okay. It was pretty interesting for a little bit here and there. I don't know what happened, or if maybe I just got bored of it. But by the time I got to the second half, especially once the main campaign ended and I got into the second campaign, which is shorter and is more of like taking place during the events of episode 7, I thought of when I played this campaign was, I think these guys just literally tacked this shit on because they had to put a campaign in this game. Like, the longer I played this campaign, the more that I'm like, I think they just half-assed this real hard. Because the ending to the main campaign is kind of meh, and then literally the ending of this second campaign is the most bullshit, like, super coincidental ending possible, because and this isn't really a spoiler, you somehow teleport to when the Star Killer, whatever the planet was, I think it was the Star Killer base or something like that it was called.
Yeah.
Or it just gets destroyed.
Yeah,
it just blows up. You just happen to fly into like you're in hyperspace and you happen to come out of it just right in that area where the explosion is. And I went, really, game? Really? Of all the places in the fucking universe you could end up, you ended up right next to the giant explosion. Really?
Was it expected, or was it like
there was no
holy
reference
fuck
to the
moment,
base
right?
at all. They just ended up there. It just by happenstance they ended up there.
It was just for
So was it?
connecting to the movie.
It was basically
weren't
them
even
saying,
shocked
"Hey, it's
or
episode
anything.
7, guys."
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, that part
yeah,
was
this
cheesy.
from what you're describing about the game in general, like it just seems like they, like you said, it was there just for the hell of it.
Not
It
to
wasn't
mention, dice games aren't really never good for single player because for whatever reason, just their style of gameplay isn't fun for a long period of time. Solo, like it helps when you have like the unpredictability. The AI in this campaign is fucking atrocious. The amount of times I would watch guys just like they'd be in cover, and then they would sit behind cover and then come out. And then go back down, and then come back out, and then go back down, and then come back out, and then go back down, and then come back out, because they can't make up their fucking mind what they want to do. And I'm just like, all right, fine, bang, go away.
Well, it's the whole situation. It's like, again, this game just feels like the campaign was forced upon you, and
I mean, they did okay in the
was-
beginning. Like, they got you interested because you didn't know when the game really took place. You just happened to start playing, and then all of a sudden, you're on Endor when the Death Star explodes. You're like, oh shit. So you're like,
I
oh,
like
that's
that
cool.
because I like that because it's not like you were even participating
And the way
in
they
the
react
whole
to it, like they don't know
defending
what to
the
do.
thing.
Like it's
Yeah.
so realistically done. It's not like it's not just like they don't just immediately surrender and hang up. Like they keep going, okay, we got to survive. Like that's their immediate focus. Like, okay, we got to get off the planet. We got to live. Okay, we got to keep this going.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being
Yeah.
like Ewoks come in, point their guns at them, yell some random shit at them, and then they all go, okay.
Oh, true. Just like in the movie.
Hmm.
This was definitely a campaign that started very interesting, and by the end of it, totally died off. Especially that extra episode 7 shit. For
Yeah,
sure, they didn't need that.
because
They only threw it
Uh,
into
Also, Adam,
for
I got my
connecting.
copy of Fallen Order back if you'd like to borrow it.
I don't know, personally, I kind of want to have the fun of playing it on Xbox Game Pass just to be like, hey, yeah, I found a loophole.
Yeah.
Fair
But
enough.
the only thing I'll say about Resurrection is that I thought I was going to really like it because I liked the main character's daughter.
Which one's Resurrection?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
she was cool.
It's the post campaign, so it's like after the main campaign they do like another little
Okay.
hour, and I really liked her in the first 5 minutes, and then they did the rest of the campaign, and it seems like just she forgot how to act for the rest of it because it was so piss poor. Like
Yeah, she seemed really cool. When it
there's a
opened with her.
particular moment towards the end of that campaign that is some of the most hammy shit hack acting I've ever seen, and some of the worst dialogue to ever end like the classic last words sequence. Like it's some of the worst shit. Like I'm sitting there being like, dude,
Oh.
this is Star Wars and this is too cheesy. That's how cheesy it was.
Oh fuck! And the thing is, they were trying with the last 3 movies. Like they actually did a. They
I'm
actually
talking
laid out
like
the
I'm
cheese.
talking like cheese, like George Lucas, like friggin' episode 2 where Anakin's being like, I hate them, like that level cheesy. It's worse than that cheesy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I never
Wow.
thought of that. Oh damn. Yeah.
Otherwise,
right.
I like the ideas of the power ups that you have. I didn't like that they freaking changed it every fucking mission, so I had to redo my power ups every fucking level. But you know that's a different story. But I mean, some of the stuff that I got to use, I liked. Like it was definitely a fun romp. But I think they could have done that in just a 3-hour campaign and just been done with it. I think making it 6-7 hours ended up really having it show its flaws. Because especially in Resurrection, that's where it really showed. Because there's a section, and if you're watching the stream or the video later on YouTube, you're watching this entire section where you're on one of these walkers, but it's not like a giant AT-AT, which is also actually pretty boring when you play that point in the game. But this one, it's so horribly controlled because it's like it doesn't steer the way that you want to. It's really stingy on like invisible walls and shit. So you try to avoid fire because you can't go behind cover because again, it's a dice game. They don't give you the ability to go behind cover. You just kind of got to stand behind something and hope.
So with Battlefront as a game itself, was it more that this game was more focused towards the co-op and
Oh, it's definitely
online
meant for
play than-
multiplayer. I mean, the whole thing with this game is that it was meant to make you buy $1 million in microtransactions or play over 1,000 hours to unlock Vader. So it was definitely built to be a multiplayer game. And like I said, I think the campaign was tacked on. And the gameplay kind of feels like it too, because it really does feel like the focus of it is that you're not doing long instances of just running around. Like you're constantly in action. So it's trying to keep you like distracted from the fact that there is a lot of buggy stuff. And when there are no players around to kind of make your attention go elsewhere, you really see how bad the AI is structured in this game. It's some really shit AI.
Huh.
I know they're stormtroopers and they have terrible aim, but that's not the point.
Yeah. Yeah. The I think what did it for me with that is that when I was playing it, they did a really good job at throwing in nostalgia. And that was purely like when I was watching it, just seeing the original trilogy connected plot lines, no matter how crappy or like terribly acted they were. It's like they hit certain notes for Star Wars fans, but then once you're done and you take a step back, it's like, oh, that wasn't as good as I actually
Well, that's the
thought it
thing.
was.
I'm not too big on the lore, so for me, that wasn't getting that much into it. So I really was kind of judging it based on as a campaign on its own right. And by the end of it, I'm like, dude, this is like maybe average at best. Like this is not that great.
Yeah,
I thought you were
absolutely.
into
Yeah.
the Star Wars
It's just
lore
like
quite a
them.
bit.
I mean, I'm not a deep lore nerd. I mean, I'm not really a big lore nerd for most things that I'm into. I'm more just like I'm really into what I'm into, but I don't deep dive because I just have way too many things to focus on. I could never really go crazy on one thing.
Like anime?
Well, that's the thing though. Like as much anime that I watch, I don't like literally know every plot line of every little character and every little thing. I don't know the names of the voice actors. Like hell, I'm a big music fan,
Yeah.
and there are very very few acts that I know all the members of the band. So it's some of those things where it's like I'm really into something, but I don't deep dive. So in the case of Star Wars, like I'm pretty familiar with all the movies, but if you're asking me to know like very specific like lore bits about like planets and shit like that, I'm like, nah, this is way out of my realm.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I just want to say because from what I know about you, you are a Star Wars fan,
Used to be.
but I guess to a certain. Okay.
Used to be.
No.
It
Okay.
used to be the other way around. I used to love Star Wars as a kid and I hated Star Trek. I didn't get it. Now I fucking have all the new movies and I fucking love Star Trek and I can't stand Star Wars. It's fucking weird how that works.
Yeah, Star Trek did a lot better job bringing Star Trek
I
to
have
like
never been a
modern
fan.
audiences. They've never been able to do the same with Star Wars. Everybody's still like
I've never
original
been a
trilogy and
fan
nothing
of
else.
either, especially Star Trek. Basically, I find Star Trek as such a religious following, especially since Jedi is a um, recognized organized religion.
Well, I mean,
So
with
it's like,
Star Trek, like a lot of it was also too like you weren't necessarily watching Star Trek for like the awe of like the space battle stuff. Like you were there because of like what political ramifications would be on other planets, like the relationships of it, like the actual world building. Whereas Star Wars was all about
Yeah.
like the crazy action and the lightsabers and shit. And granted, like
the
Star
way
Trek
I
tried a little bit harder to add the action into it now, which I think is what also made me probably like it more because they started being a little more like Star Wars. Because you watch Star Trek Beyond, it's not anything like the old Star Trek series would have been. It's completely its own thing.
a lot of
Oh, yeah.
people I know, they ask me what's the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek, and my explanation is that Star Trek is multiple stories, but an ongoing journey, where Star Wars is one story and multiple parts pertaining to that one giant story.
I could even go one better. Star Trek is for adults, Star Wars is for kids.
Yeah.
That's really the honesty in there.
The best quote I ever
get
heard
it.
about this was actually from Bill Nye, because they asked Bill Nye the Science Guy which his favorite was, and he said Star Trek. Star Trek is based on science, actual science. Star Wars is based on magic and a family in a space opera.
You know what else show is
He's
really
like,
based
as
on
a scientist,
science?
Star
The Expanse.
The Expanse would definitely be Bill Nye's favorite.
Not
show.
not even
'Cause it's
like kidding.
Star
Like
Trek
scientists
3.0.
legitimately like go way behind that show. Like
Oh,
there
yeah.
there are science
Oh,
like
yeah.
conventions that they invite the people from the Expanse onto because it's just that rooted in science.
Yep.
Well, the most insane science I've ever seen in any like movie is or anything is Interstellar, because that was one thing that like with the you guys have seen The Martian with Matt Damon,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
Yep.
so that one, it was a really good movie, but the science was explained in a way that the general audience could understand. So it wasn't like however with Interstellar, while how it was a good movie and it was a very intelligent movie, I could not understand what the literal fuck they were talking about most of the time with the whole quantum time loops and everything, and then like the portals, and
How
it
do you
was
not
like
understand time travel? Time Cop with Jean-Claude Van Damme clearly explained all of that shit.
that is true.
100%.
That is true. Yeah, I just
That's another show you should watch on
Interstellar-
Prime. Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard that's ridiculously awesome.
If you want something to just make you go, "What the fuck is this?" That's Jean-Claude Van Johnson because it's basically self-aware like satire. It's fucking great.
So one day I was just like bored and just I saw the Street Fighter cartoon there. I watched it. It's so terrible, and I want to watch the entire fucking thing. It is so terrible. The animation is so choppy, so bad. The voice acting is horrendous. The story is so ridiculous. I'm like, I want to watch this entire thing. And actually, it made me want to watch the old Street Fighter movie again.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The funny thing is while it's a complete dumpster fire, that movie, a lot of people like I haven't seen it in a very long time, but apparently and it probably was making sense because he was a very good Shakespearean actor. Raul Julia's portrayal of Bison apparently was actually well done.
Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with that movie. Raul Julia as Bison is not one of them, and it's probably the one good thing about that movie.
No, people were saying that
there's another really good thing.
Cammy?
There's another really good thing. No, that it created Street Fighter the movie, the game. We got a fighting game based on this movie.
It was the most meta piece of shit I've ever seen.
You wanna know something crazy? That video game has the most absurd record. It is the first movie it's the first video game based on a movie that's based on a video game.
Like I said, so meta. So meta.
It is such a bizarre record. Oh, I hear it's horrendous, but all they had to do is make a fucking Street Fighter game.
Yeah, they just had to make Street Fighter. They just had to make Street Fighter.
It's I just want to watch it again because it's just stupid fun. It's just like you shut your brain off and just enjoy it.
Look, people keep talking about like, oh, what's the best video game movie? Anytime I bring up Mortal Kombat, people are like, really, Mortal Kombat? I'm like, yes, because Mortal Kombat is legitimately exactly what the game was. It is stupid as shit, but it's violent as shit at the same time. That game that movie doesn't take itself seriously at all, and that's why it's amazing. Like, no other movie can encapsulate what that movie does.
I think what they should have done with Mortal Kombat, and they wouldn't have done it back then, but if they're going to do it now, if they had made Mortal Kombat rated R, it would have been even better.
No, let's be honest. With the budget they had during that film, there's no way they could have made that.
Possible.
There's no way. Did you see what they did with Mortal Kombat Annihilation? Trust me, the animation budget wasn't that good.
Oh, God. Listen, we don't speak of Voldemort.
Well, that's why we don't speak of Voldemort, but this is Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
That's what I meant, you fuck.
Vishal, Voldemort, if we're talking video game movies, is Street Fighter The Legend of Chun-Li, okay?
Are you sure?
Yes. Actually, no. Well, no. If I'm talking video games, yes. So I was about to say Dragon Ball Evolution. I'm like, no, that's anime. That's different.
Wait. What about Yui Bull's movies?
No. Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li is that bad.
Oh.
It's bad.
Yeah, I didn't even watch that one. I saw a trailer and I was like,
well, because I always like Kristen Curick because of Smallville, and then I don't know. I cannot think of anything worse than fucking Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I saw it at 14 in the theater.
Then you haven't tried yet. You haven't even tried hard enough to see something worse. Because oh man, Chun-Li is that.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to other horrible things now, actually, so I can move this show along.
Oh God, Adam's going to show us his sex tape.
I said horrible things, non-existent things.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Perfect way to make
nice curveball on that one.
Yes, well played. Well played.
So the one real news story that we got, and then we're going to talk about the PlayStation user interface, which got shown off recently. 2K strikes again. So not too long ago, EA obviously did their bullshit by randomly throwing in ads in the new UFC game after all the reviews came out. Well, NBA 2K21 decided to do a similar thing where all of a sudden ads for the Oculus Quest 2 just suddenly started appearing in NBA 2K21, a game that's full price, by the way.
Yeah.
It's unskippable. Even if you're running on a PC with an SSD, the loading screen intentionally takes longer than the ad. So it's not even a loading screen that an SSD can fix. So the loading screen is designed to play that ad.
Brutal.
And the best part is after all the blowback came in, I know, shocking, we got mad about a sports game doing something really shady when they charge full price for a game that should not be full price. They apologized for it, but they didn't apologize for putting the ad there. They said, oh, this didn't act in the way that we intended it to. Basically saying, oh shit, we didn't think you guys would be mad. Maybe we should put this somewhere else where you won't get mad.
Yep.
Okay, so I don't mind if in the game there's advertisements.
But we're talking billboards, not
Subtle.
unskippable commercials.
Yeah, like especially like with the jerseys, they have the mini logos on them. And if they had,
dude,
like,
if they want to have
billboards-
Nike and fucking Pepsi and all this shit plastered all along the sideboard, like if we're talking NHL or MLB or like on the walls or whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
But to fucking have a game where the ad is unskippable, that's fucking
Like guys,
retarded.
like 2K, Take-Two, like this isn't fucking YouTube.
So okay, so what? Do you guys remember the Hulk movie from 2003?
Vaguely, I try to forget that one too.
Fair enough. Honestly, it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I actually don't hate that movie.
Yeah. So when I bought the DVD because I just wanted to watch it again, and however, this was one that I thought was unforgivable. When you put the DVD in, it starts with movie ads that aren't skippable for a DVD. that you
Yeah,
purchase.
DVDs used to do that a lot of the time, which was kind of irritating.
No, this time it was like very blatant. It's like you could.
Oh no,
skip
I
ad
know what you're
history.
talking about. That happens a lot more than you think it does, which is really stupid. But that's how they get you. I mean, that was basically VHSs,
what
unless you
the
wanted to fast
fuck
forward
were
and
you
hope to
doing?
God you hit the spot.
Yeah. So it was. This was just fucking unnecessary, and now when I hear about NBA doing it, it's like, come on, guys! Like this
Oh,
is
dude,
like
the NBA games have been basically Madden for the last like 4 years now. They used to be the kings of sports. Like NBA, like mid 2010s, they were the kings. No one could touch them. And for whatever reason, I guess they've got too comfy because when EA, especially once EA tried to compete and failed on such an amazingly stupid level. The fact that they couldn't even make like a decent sports game from scratch just tells you how out of the game EA Sports actually is now. So as soon as as soon as 2K realized they had no competition, they're like, all right, now we're going to do whatever we want because no one's fucking touching us now. And that's why we're seeing this shit. That's why we're seeing what we saw last year with the fucking pachinko machines and the Plinko shit that, you know, you're trying to get like all these skins and shit from, and then a crazy amount of microtransactions because where else are you going to go for your basketball fix?
So I'm really surprised about this, especially since the NBA is arguably the most well-run league.
Well, yeah,
in
but
North
anything can be
America.
well run in real life, but as soon as it gets licensed to somebody else, it's subject to being completely destroyed.
Okay, fair enough.
Absolutely.
So it's probably EA doing this shit.
No,
then.
this isn't EA. This is 2K. This is Take-Two Interactive. They're the ones
Okay,
that run
so-
the NBA license.
Yeah, honestly, it's just there's so many fucking like sports games that they're just fucking like.
And then on the flip
like,
side,
really?
they've made one of the better like golf games in a long time now that they've taken over the Tiger Woods license from EA. So it's kind of weird how that works out.
Okay, for me, there's no real good golf game besides Hot Shots.
No,
but-
like I'm not gonna lie. Like if you get me a good simulation golf game, they can be pretty fun. I remember playing. What year would have it been on the Wii that I would have played? Probably around like 2010, where they had the motion controls. It was some of the coolest shit. Like it was really good back then.
There was.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. So it's like if honestly got who is out there, if you actually want to play a good fun NBA game, get NBA Playgrounds. It's a spiritual successor to NBA Jam, and also there's a sequel out to it. I haven't bought that one, but that one is actually fun, and it's not too serious, and you can actually what's the term I'm looking for? You actually play experience to get your players rather than buying them. You of course
Oh,
can
you
buy
can.
them,
Oh, you
but
can play too in NBA 2K. It's just you gotta play a little bit longer.
Yeah, but again, this is
Yeah.
this is a situation where sports
Or
gamers,
pay money.
where people who play sports games, they don't do themselves any favors.
No, they don't.
And
They
just
think that
fuck
this is
themselves
because it's the only home they got to deal with it. It's like, no, you can just not play that game. You can just, you know, keep playing the one you already have and not give them more money. I know that seems like a crazy concept, but if the only thing that they really change is a roster update, all you got to do is just go in and update it yourself, even if you want.
I remember this was a while back. I was at I reunited with a few friends who I haven't seen in a while, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you get?" This is like 2009 or something. They're like, "Why don't you get NHL 2006 or 2007?" I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "It's like $4. We can all just play together online." And I was like, "You have a point, actually. Just like go in, pick up an old school game, and there's not the servers would pretty free because no one's really playing it."
Yeah, they all move on because they're suckers.
Yeah, it's like they have a point. It's like if you would just want to play with each other, just play hockey or like any like cheesy sports game, you just be like, "Oh, yeah, this actually is a good idea."
You
So
guys
I'm
have
like,
sold me.
here's
Let's
the-
all get NHL 21.
mm,
You both say.
okay. Here's it. Adam is a hardcore Leafs fan. I don't think he's buying that. I don't think he's buying NHL 2K20 because, with Matthews on the cover.
If I won't even buy a game with literally my team on the cover for the first time in fucking forever, no. And as a guy who used to play NHL religiously, I used to play them religiously from like 10 to 14. I'm out. I can't stand that shit anymore.
Yeah, and it's like for myself, it's the only. I don't even know if I would buy an NBA game with a Raptor on the cover, even if it's Lowry, even if it's like Pascal. Like I just don't see myself buying it.
You shouldn't be buying a sports game at all anyway. At this point, that's the only way that we can get them to change something, and it probably won't do anything in the end. But
oh, they won't.
Also, just who's on the cover is not a good reason because the game itself can still suck.
That's why sports fans are dumb.
Well, my one friend, there was one year at Fan Expo where they had a sports section. Paul Molitor was there, and so was Joe Montana. My friend, he got his Sega Genesis Joe Montana signed by Joe Montana. It's like, okay,
yeah, but that doesn't count. That's back in the Sega
that.
Genesis days where sports games were actually fucking good.
Yeah, they were really good on the Genesis. That was one thing Genesis did better than Super
Sports
Nintendo.
games have been fine since about 2015. Once we got to that point, that's when everything really started. I mean, it was starting like around early 2010s.
Dude, I would say even like, I would say 2012. It's like that's when it really.
Well, I'm trying to be charitable here. I'm trying to be charitable for once in my life. So realistically, like as somebody who is
podcast that predates itself, not the podcast that's charitable.
As someone who played at least all the way up to 14, like those games were still pretty good, but that's when it was really starting to be like, okay, guys, like can we do a little bit more next time? But they were still doing enough. Now it's to the point where it's so blatantly obvious that they don't care. So
there was one time that I bought NBA. I hadn't opened it, and then a few months later, it was free on PS Plus.
Yeah, I think that was a couple of years ago that they did that.
Luckily for me, the girl I went to Best Buy was really nice and it's like, don't worry about it, I'll just return it for you. It's not open. We can resell it. And so she just refunded my money back. But it's like, okay, that's when I was like, yo, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna bother anymore.
You still frustrate me because you tell me stories about how you buy a game and then you keep it sealed and then it just sits there. I'm like, motherfucker, if I buy a game, it's opening immediately. There's a reason I bought it.
Yeah, I know.
Drive me freaking crazy.
I jump in on this one. My
backlog. The funny
backlog.
thing is, I'll buy another game while that one's sealed and play that one, the next one first. Like Horizon hasn't been played yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm at that point that I can't afford to be doing that shit anymore.
I beat Horizon on a different console before you beat the
and
game.
he owned it the entire time.
I got it before both of you guys, so my bad.
My bad.
Well, I haven't been buying anything. I can't.
And you haven't been playing anything either, so you know.
Yeah, I can't even think of anything I want to buy right now coming up besides Spider-Man, and I don't even think I'm probably gonna get Spider-Man when it.
You are not gonna get Spider-Cat at launch? Fucking blasphemy.
Yeah, I know.
You know who is probably going to get Spider-Cat at launch? Chris, because he's got a PS5 coming his way.
That is
Yeah, he
the
does.
only actual game I'm buying.
Which, by the
Because
way, moving
Cat.
on to the
the
PS5
cat.
Oh.
user interface,
Oh yes,
that thing looked pretty.
it did.
It really did.
There's a lot of things to talk about as well. I mean, I did my own separate thing. That's on YouTube if you want to look that up. YouTube at askcsradical. That one, there was a lot of things to dive into it. There are a lot of things that I think it's like anything else. There are always a bunch of stuff that they put in that you know that like 5% of people are going to use, but it's all stuff that's like, that's kind of a neat idea. I mean, right off the bat, the fact that you can start it up from sleep mode and the game's immediately on and we're right where you were, I'm like, oh, that's fucking nice.
Yeah, this is exactly like what I was saying with the Switch feature. That I don't know if PS4 does this because I don't have one, but I mean that kind of stuff is to me what the next generation is going to be about.
I don't know if it
these
saves your
small-
state. I know if you boot it up, like it'll boot back up really pretty quick, but I don't know if it just. I assume it does, but it's definitely slower.
I think it's
not this
the
damn
exact
fast.
moment you're at.
It is certainly not
on
instant
PS4.
fucking taneous.
Yeah, it was instantaneous. It was crazy. Like the PlayStation turned on, pressed the PS button, pressed it, game. Like the fuck. I haven't seen speed like that since Super Nintendo, which is really weird to say.
Well, it's because there was no filler in the thing. It was just, oh, you're here to play a
loading
game.
time
Okay,
didn't
load the
exist
game.
until 95. Yeah, it
Well,
wasn't until 1995 that we saw this.
There's
but
a
still,
meme about the Super Nintendo saying, over 20 years old, doesn't need a system update.
that is a good point.
Yeah, but it's also 20 plus years old, so it may not work anymore.
No, those will work.
No, I'm just saying, there's a chance. If it doesn't work, you just know.
NESs and SNESs will probably still work.
Either way, we're not talking about fucking 25-year-old consoles.
Legendary consoles.
So there's a couple things right off the bat that I saw that I'm like, okay, that's cool. Don't know if I'll use it. They show like I know for Chris, because he's a guy that likes his trophies. He likes the fact that it shows off, all the things that you could be doing on this level to achieve this thing. I think that's kind of neat if you're somebody who's trying to hunt for stuff. But I mean, for me personally, it's not my thing because I'm not much of an achievement person. I don't really aim to finish games. I just go, okay, I'll play the game until I don't want to play it anymore.
As an achievement trophy, I don't want. I used to be a hunter for these things. I'm not as much anymore because my backlog was like, if you do that, you will never finish us. Please.
Did
stop.
you ever? Because I know with Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots, they added a trophy patch afterwards. Did you ever do that?
That one I don't think I ever went back to. That's one of the few ones I didn't. But on PS4 I had, I think, 17 platinums, which is still a fair bit. But yeah, like as a trophy hunter, like that feature when I saw it, I was like, hot damn, because whenever I'm playing games and I'm trying to get all the trophies, I have like my phone open or an iPad or something on psntrophies.com or whatever .org or whatever the hell it's called. There's something called a roadmap where it shows you all the achievements. But it's annoying because you're looking through just this giant website and it's got all the achievements listed and what to do, but you have to like scroll up and down the website all the time because it's usually just in alphabetical order. And that's not how trophies work. It's could be any single one you got to look out for.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the level you're on. The trophy is to get 3 collectibles. There are these 3 collectibles. You've got 1. And you can go back and press on that card or whatever it is.
And it'll take you to the level.
And it takes you back to that level to do the last 2 things. Like, how organized is that shit? That's so.
Now that may not be every game because they did mention like there's even like the hints video that it kind of gives you an idea of what you're supposed to do. That may not be every game. Not to mention there are trophies that are intentionally hidden, so you may not be able to see certain ones because obviously that could lead to spoilers. Speaking of spoilers, I like the fact now that if you post images or videos in your group chats, that it actually, if the developer says this is spoiler parts of the game, it might actually flag it as spoiler so you don't see it right away. So that way, some people couldn't be douchebags in your fucking party.
Well, there's in Arkham Knight. For the record, everyone, it's a 6-year-old game. There are certain parts you can't share because it was considered a spoiler, especially with the part where the Arkham Knight gets revealed.
Well, that's pretty standard with a
So-
lot of games too. Like there are even games that will straight up block you from recording or streaming while you're in certain things. So
Yeah, that is very true. And
Arkham
I read
Knight
an
was the first
article-
time I actually saw it happen, though.
yeah.
Oh, could be, yeah. I did read an article or some comments off the PlayStation blog after that the UI video was released. For levels that are spoiler, it won't have it on the cards that it shows you what to collect. But once you've beaten that level, therefore you've already, spoiled the story or whatever for you, then a card
Yeah,
comes
that
up
makes
for that
sense.
level showing what you missed. Which I
Oh,
thought is
okay.
great because usually that's how it goes. You play through the game once, normally, then you go back and get all the trophies you missed. And that's perfect because you can play through the whole game not worrying about anything but story and enjoying it, and then you're done. All the cards are there showing you what you missed, and you can just go back to each individual level, not having to search manually, go through each card, get your achievements, you're done, get your trophies. Like as somebody who goes for that stuff, that's amazing because it speeds it up, makes it easier, but like I don't know. I just thought it's great.
Now, also on the videos
Well, yeah.
on the video feed right now, we see that they have the picture-in-picture stuff, which is pretty fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome, and I like for me, it's like the way you're describing it. If it was like a situation where you can have like a Raptors game playing in the corner while you're
That's the one thing I'm worried
playing a
about
game.
because they weren't specific about what that picture-in-picture does. Because they only showed if you're watching a friend stream or you're watching like one of those hint videos. It's the only two times they showed it. So that makes me wonder, does that mean all apps can be used in that way? Or is it just PlayStation specific apps? Because it could mean that you could watch a YouTube video while playing a game, or watching Netflix while playing a game, or watching anything like that. Which means like for us here in Canada, we have the Sportsnet app, which is where you can stream games. So you could watch a sports game while playing a video game at the same time. If that's the case, that's fucking amazing. And if it
Yeah.
isn't,
Yeah.
if it's just PlayStation specific apps, then that's a missed opportunity.
100%. 100%.
That's a
Even if
huge
you
missed
just-
opportunity.
Even if you just take this podcast, which will be on Twitch, which will be on YouTube for the video format, imagine playing a game, but you want to catch up on your podcast, but you also like the video version, and you actually just put that up in the corner.
So for that very specific niche people.
No, I don't know. Like I feel like a lot of people kind of do that kind of thing. Like a lot of people do like the video version of like you take any of the popular YouTube tech people and stuff. Especially it's like, oh, we're going over the Xbox news today, or here's what's on sale in the Nintendo eShop. Like all these YouTube videos that normally you just watch, you can throw them up in the corner while you game. Like
And it's nice that it isn't just one spot. It's not even just the corners. It could be in the center or on the bottom center to the left. Like you can definitely like have a pretty good placement of it too. So you can really kind of figure out where you want it.
I find the corners are the best spot.
Well, the reason that
because
I
you
like
can-
that they do it the way that they do is because that way, if there are certain HUD elements you're trying not to block, it works out perfectly that way. So, like, if you want to
That's
see your
true.
bullet counts, you want to see the mini map. Like, just say the only spot you have really that doesn't interfere is literally on the middle on the right hand side of the screen. Then that's your spot, and I like the fact that that's an option.
And it looked like from at least the hints video, you could even slide it over where it was actually like not picture in picture, but it was almost like an app on an iPad kind of situation where the two apps are sharing the same screen.
Yeah.
And one is pushed a little to the left, takes up like 75%.
Oh yeah, there
of
were
the
several
screen,
options to
and
it
the other
too.
one
So
was
they definitely
25.
didn't just
Yeah.
go to one thing. So you have like multiple ways to view your content.
Yeah.
Which
So
again,
next time we're
choices. It's fucking great.
Yeah. Next time we're all on and we're all playing games, Vishal goes live on Uno. He can stream it. We'll throw it off into the side, play our game while we watch him play an Uno.
Oh god,
think
you guys start
that's the
trash talking
future.
me. I may kill you both. On
It's
that
well, yeah,
spot.
but the screen might be so well. It depends. If I'm playing on my 4K TV, that's different. I'll see it. But if I'm playing on like a smaller monitor, it'd be like I can't fucking see what the hell he's doing.
It's funny that we make fun of this because I can actually see the three of us having a party chat. We're all on PlayStation. Vishal does stream his just Uno game while we all talk, and we just like trash talk him as he plays Uno, and we're playing something like Spider-Man.
No, Vish, play the
or,
7. Play the 7.
I actually would love
Right.
that, and I hope we do this.
Another thing,
It would-
because I'm
it-
watching the video while we're here on stream. I love the fact that
Same.
that you can now do talk to text, which is a big deal
Mhm.
because I hate typing on that controller.
It is
The
hell.
amazing-
I
part of
specifically
that-
had a USB keyboard because I hated typing out.
When I heard that feature, or sorry, when I saw it on the video, I then realized why there's a microphone in the controller. Because I knew that the microphone was in the controller for like, party chat and stuff if you didn't want to grab your headset. But once I saw and realized this talk to text was there,
There's going to be games where
That's
you use
amazing.
that.
oh yeah, there'll definitely be games. But I would 100% use it for the voice control. Just like voice to text or like that kind of stuff. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, no, it definitely like Adam says typing on the controller itself it fucking sucks.
It blows.
It
100%.
yeah.
But the problem with this video, because I always have to have something with it, is that they showed a lot of things and left way too many doors open. They showed you the picture-in-picture, didn't tell you specifically if there was going to be more besides their own stuff that they could use. They showed you a little bit of sharing screenshots, and they showed you that you could share it to multiple places. Didn't say what that was. It just showed Twitter like that's always been there. So you don't know if Instagram's part of it. You don't know if Facebook's part of it. So they didn't show
has
that.
To be.
It has to
has
be,
to be.
but they haven't said it, which is annoying because it's such a little thing you
Yeah.
can say. They show, oh, here's the PlayStation store, but didn't go into the store. So it's all these
Yeah, they didn't
things
hit
that
down or
like
anything.
there's a lot of things they could have done. And I keep reinforcing this, and I said this in my solo video too. Sony, the console is out in less than a month. Just tell us all the shit that's going on. Stop. Your console is
pre-orders are
coming out
done.
in 3 weeks. Tell everybody what the thing does. It's not that important to hold this shit back anymore. This isn't the price like this is not me getting mad about like the price not being set or the date. This is like, dude, this is like stuff people need to know this stuff because that helps their decision. Because if you're like, for example, if you're a YouTuber and you want to share all your stuff to Instagram and all that stuff, that's kind of a feature you want to know if it exists or not. Because if it doesn't exist, then what's the point in rushing to a PS5? You can just stick around on PS4 for a little while. Because there's no point. It's not like it's going to up your social media game any differently. If you're somebody who's trying to find a way to be able to play games but not take away his time, like if he's a sports fan, if he wants to watch NFL or whatever else, something like knowing that you could take the ESPN app or the Sportsnet app or the DAZN app or Fight
what?
TV,
That is
that's
a huge,
important stuff. Like that's stuff that
That's a
people would
huge
want to
missed
know.
opportunity because if, for example, sports players, if they want to watch their games while playing their games, that's probably going to happen.
What are you
and
talking? What are you
if they
talking?
don't-
Like, what do you like? Actual players watching their own shit?
No, I mean
Well,
like.
You mean like
Well,
sports
okay.
gamers?
Someone,
watch...
if someone is playing Madden,
Okay, because
and
you
they
said
wanna
sports
watch the-
players, so I went like, are you talking like the athlete, like watching their games? I'm like, that's
Oh
what?
yeah, I thought you meant
Sports-
the athletes
sports
too.
video game players,
So if they're
wanna
playing Madden while
watch-
watching their own team playing an actual NFL game, you mean?
Yes. Getting a double dose of it.
So,
Or even just like watching other teams play, because one thing with football is like fantasy football is very fucking like huge around.
Well, and
Like,
again,
I know
we're still
I know
not-
so many people who are in multiple football pools to the point it's kind of sad how many football pools there is.
no one watching the show cares about fantasy football. So the idea, honestly, is that like when we're talking missed opportunities, I'm not saying missed opportunities yet because we don't know. It's the idea that Sony has had the chance there to just give that information and didn't do it. And it goes back to what I said way back when I was screaming and shouting about them not revealing information about the date and the price. It's like, guys, stop fucking with your customers. Just tell us. What marketing thing is it going to change now to just not tell us that Instagram is available on the sharing thing? Like, just say it. It's not hard.
Yeah.
And if the answer is you don't know yet,
Crazy.
then you really didn't do your job, did you? Because you should kind of
They're
know.
just not going to tell us.
Well, that's what I mean, is there's no reason not to tell anymore. Like, unless they're just trying to piss people off.
It's I don't even know why. To be entirely
Like,
honest, at this point,
you've
I can't.
defended this on marketing principles. There is no reason to say that Instagram is
No,
not going to
this-
be available. That's not a marketing thing at
Okay,
this point.
Adam, again, you don't understand like what they're doing, and on a fan perspective, I completely agree with you. But why they're doing some things for like, but this part where they're saying they're not revealing if Instagram is compatible with it, that part makes no fucking sense because you know what, Sony, it's free advertising. It's called user generated content.
It's not even that
We're
point of advertising.
Advertising for you.
It's-
We're marketing.
It's
for
not even
you.
an advertising thing. It's literally just such basic information that doesn't need to be pulled back. There's no
No.
if that information exists, there's no reason to hide it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
literally no purpose to hiding it. Because again, your console's out in 3 weeks. What? It's Sony. You're gonna have like 5 more videos in the next 3 weeks about all these extra little things because you still haven't shown us the extent of your create tool. That's supposed to be
Yeah.
a big feature of PS5. Why don't we know about this?
Yeah. Or the media area on the home screen.
Like, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing is getting leaked. That's how bad things are. Like, we're seeing what the PlayStation 5 store looks like from other people across the planet because they're looking into the code. Like, something's wrong with this.
Yeah.
So, like, the
Yeah.
video, I love the video. I'm not going to pretend that I wasn't impressed by what that UI is, but there were just some things about that video that I couldn't help but get mad about because I'm like, dude, we got a month to go. Just tell us. There's no reason to hide it anymore. That was just the gist of it for me.
It's not like anything they showed was bad. Everything they showed us was amazing.
They
felt
just
next
teased
gen,
you.
Felt intuitive. It's the stuff they didn't show or left out. That's
Especially
like,
because they showed half of something.
yeah,
Like they said, here's the
Yeah.
store. We're not going to show you that right now. I'm like, then don't fucking acknowledge it.
yeah. Oh, the store's right here now. Like apparently you don't even have to press the store button. You just press down and the whole store is there or something. I think. I can't even tell.
It's like at that point, you could have just not mentioned, like, we can see the store buttons in the corner, but you just didn't have to say anything. But the second you said it,
Yep.
it's like, oh, we're going to see the store? And then you don't do anything. Because again, it'd be nice to know what's going on with the store. Because we'd love to know if things like, I don't know, wish listing and gifting was something, an option in there, more demo availability, shit like that. But instead, it's just, no, we don't want to talk about it. It's like, why? Why not
It'd
make
just
your
be
fans
crazy.
happy? I'm like, oh, look, I'm still not like sitting here being like the PS5 is going to be a shit console, but Sony in the last 6 months has made me a little bit nervous. Just a little bit on edge, because I'm like, dude, these guys are starting to be a bit assholey again.
Yeah, it's like they're overconfident with how the PS4 did, so they don't feel the need.
And they
to
said
do
they weren't,
everything.
which is what made me go, okay, you guys remember what happened with the PS3? They still got more consoles sold, but that's because Japan doesn't give a shit about anything outside their country, so that helped a lot.
Yeah.
But they said, oh, we learned from what we did with the PS3, and they did with the pricing and shit, but
Yeah.
like it's still
Yeah,
like they're
and-
treating the fans really poorly with information, and it's really starting to show because a lot of people are getting really fed up with it, myself included.
Yeah, because it feels like either they're not telling us because they're doing some weird mystery marketing thing,
Or there's
Or-
nothing.
they don't know yet, or they just don't have it yet. And it's like, is there going to be a massive update coming out like a month after the console?
Yeah, are we getting a
Is
day
this
one
thing gonna
patch for
release
PS5?
Yeah, like for the actual console, not even for games anymore. The
It
console's
happened with the
released
Wii U.
Yeah, the
Oh,
Wii U is a
shit.
special case. That thing is.
There's a reason it
That-
sounds like an ambulance. Wee wee wee.
Any last words before we move on to our last segment?
Just that I am overly excited for the PS5.
Yeah, you're
And
gonna
it's
be our
stupid 'cause
our
even though-
PS5 guy for the next 6 months at least.
Yeah, as long as
Well-
it arrives, I don't imagine it'll arrive on the day.
I get the feeling you'll get it within
but-
like a week, probably, maybe a little.
Yeah, it'll
maybe
be
a
within
little
a
bit
week.
longer at most, but like unlike most people who are being very impatient, you'll live.
Yeah. And it's funny because all the games I'm going to be playing besides the new Spider-Man, you guys will be like, "Oh, what have you been playing?" I'm like, "This amazing game called God of War," and I'm going to be like catching up.
Yeah, you got
Might as well
PS4
be the-
catching up to do anyway, so.
Yeah, it's going to be the 2017
It's
podcast.
I'm just waiting patiently till a
Uh,
week after the PS5 so I can start playing Cyberpunk.
Yes.
If it gets what happens if it gets delayed again?
It won't.
I don't want to think about it.
That would be
I
crazy
think
if they
at
did
this
that,
point,
especially
I
with
think
the
at this
punch.
at this point, Adam would probably have a psychotic meltdown.
The only reason I would have a psychotic meltdown is because it's 2020 and because of everything that's happened leading to this point. I've been waiting for just like one nice thing to happen, and this could be the one nice thing. So if it gets delayed, I'm gonna just be like, all right, I'm gonna just kill myself at this point. There's no point. There's no point in seeing what the next
We're
month and a half
gonna-
is gonna be.
Here's what's gonna happen.
My Christmas is
Here's
gonna be
my
terrible. I'm
prediction.
gonna get like nothing but boxes of coal.
Here's what I think is gonna happen: is Cyberpunk gets delayed again, and if it gets delayed significantly,
Podcast is canceled.
we're not gonna hear from Adam for about 3 weeks. We go there. Turns out he drank that bottle of Crown Royal. To
I will
death.
tell you exactly what will happen. I have a kabuki mask hanging on my bookshelf. I will do the podcast for the next few weeks like that and have a fucking different voice going on, trying to act like a different character because I've had a psychotic meltdown.
What is a kabuki
Now
mask?
I kind of want it to be delayed.
Yeah, I know.
As much of an asshole as that would make me, I want this.
Oh,
in
dude,
my life.
I'm just like kind of like, I just it would be like the video of the guy whose World of Warcraft account got canceled.
Oh, I
It
love
just
that
it's
video.
that much of a psychotic meltdown. I just feel like that.
Are you
would
talking the guy
happen.
that shoves the remote up his ass?
I'm not expecting you to shove anything up your ass. I'm just expecting you to have like a complete psychotic meltdown at that point.
Good,
like that.
good, because I don't want anything up my ass. So I'm cool. I'm good with I'm good with not that.
Especially if it gets stuck, and the only way to turn on the TV is to clench.
Oh boy, I got a funny story.
Damn, I gotta
that
just-
an
I gotta
old
just-
supervisor told me.
Fuck off. We're not doing story time.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys after. It's
Yeah, this
hilarious.
is an after.
This doesn't involve me, by the way.
I
everyone.
can't
This
make a
does
good
not
I can't
involve
make a
me.
good segue with ass clenching to get us into our last segment. I just can't. This is the one segue I can't do.
Adam. Why are you such a
I'm level
pussy?
98. I haven't hit level 99. I haven't gotten to ass clenching fucking segues yet. Okay, that's the last thing I have to unlock.
Why are you being such a pussy?
What are you talking about? We're talking about ass clenching. The fuck?
I am
Who
talking
said anything about pussy?
Spider Cat. I am talking about Spider Cat. I'm trying to get a segue for you.
That's still not a good segue because it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So
Oh.
I'm just gonna move right on to the last thing, like nothing happened. And because there's no big news, we just have like a fun question that I decided to kind of make up for this. So we're getting close to the end of the year, which means we're gonna have a new year upon us. And with a new year brings new games. Now, obviously, we know of some games that are coming, but I figured it'd be interesting because we always do the the hypothetical, like what's the one game that you want to see? Like, obviously for Chris, it's like a new Chrono game or something like that, or for Vish, it's like Legend of Dragoon remake or fucking Dino Crisis sequel, something like that. So I'm not doing that because that's too easy on them.
Vice versa.
I'm going to make it challenging. So I want you guys to come up with a game that you think is going to be announced and released next year within a reasonable amount.
Okay. So I know one that is probably going to be, but I'm not going to choose that one. I'm just going to say God of War 2.
Well, that's something that has already been announced. That also doesn't count.
Yeah, that's been announced.
Like, I mean, something that has not yet to be announced. Like, something you want to see, whether it's like, I don't know, like, out of nowhere, like a Sly Cooper or a fucking, like...
Oh, I got one.
Yeah, I've got mine too.
Okay, so we'll go in order of the podcast. So, Vish, what's yours?
A new Metroid game for the Switch.
That could be possible.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 4.
Or even...
See, the
just
funny thing
a
is
brand new-
technically there should have been one for a long time. Metroid Prime 4 has been in the ether about as long as Cyberpunk has been
Yeah.
announced.
Yeah.
And also, I not even Metroid Prime, I think a Metroid game in general.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do a
where-
side-scroller Metroid for Switch, because it seems like a good time to be doing it too.
Yeah.
No, it's
What
not.
did they
No,
call
like a full-out like third person, like almost like.
Oh no,
a-
but I'm saying
shooter.
my likely perspective would be
Yeah.
is like it's like they're making a Prime game, but I think if there was going to be a second one, it'd be more likely be like a smaller, like indie developed sort of like old school one.
Yeah,
I think it'd be a great idea.
for sure.
And
It would have to
I
be
agree with you.
something called Switch because on Super Nintendo it was Super Metroid, and every game on Nintendo 64.
Well, you
was
could make like another Echoes
Kirby
game, right?
64.
Like you could just make. I think Echoes was at 2, so you could make like an Echoes 3 potentially.
No, it's got to be Metroid Switch, and you switch between Samus and Ridley.
Why don't they just make a real like Metroid Legend of Zelda like mix game, like that one thing that AGDQ runs.
I got a quick question for you guys that I think it won't take too long. But
Well, make it quick then. I don't need a story.
A question within a question.
Well, I'll ask it after. Since potentially the next mini console is going to be the Dreamcast Mini, what game would you want on that?
Oh, well, if that was that, it's immediately at Skies of Arcadia. Like without it, because we already know what the obvious suspects would be. So Skies of Arcadia is like the one that most people wouldn't guess.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
because I mean anybody could say Sonic or Knights or whatever else, but that's going to be on it if there's a Dreamcast Mini. So.
Okay.
Honestly, there's only like 40 games on there, so they should all be on it, or it's not with it.
I feel like we should discuss that after.
Well, I already started it, so we might as well not stop. So can't be that hard.
That weird one where Leonard Nimoy narrates a fish human. You guys ever see that on Dreamcast? It's a fish.
It's not Star Trek.
No, there's a fish that has a human face.
Star Wars. Sorry.
Yeah, this is definitely not Star Wars.
Leonard Nimoy Dreamcast. Seaman.
Seaman.
Oh, that's really fucking weird. Seaman? That weird thing. Oh yeah, I remember that. Hang on, I'm gonna put the image on screen here.
It's a fish with a human face, and it's like evolving.
That weird fucking thing. Narrates. If people remember that weird, like, because Japan.
Yeah, just look it up for sure. You'll be traumatized. You won't sleep.
Oh god.
Leonard Nimoy must have been really desperate that year.
I mean,
oh god, it was horrible.
Like they probably put Shenmue on there, the original one, maybe like Soul Calibur.
Seaman.
And also, Jet Set Radio they need to put on there.
Power Stone.
Ooh, yeah. It's
But it should be one game only. Seaman.
Fucking Seaman.
$79.99 plus tax. Dreamcast Mini. Let's do it.
Why do you want Seaman so badly?
What? It's addicting.
Okay. Jet Set Radio, I think, should definitely be on there.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's been an
because I think that could actually potentially have the game remade or have a sequel to it.
That's true.
So what was your one serious one, Chris?
So wait, for Dreamcast or
for Dreamcast? We might as well cap that off because we got Jet Set and Skies of Arcadia.
It's hard because Skies of Arcadia would have been my answer 100%. I guess Phantasy Star Online and them actually putting the servers back up for
that'd be pretty crazy.
That would be
because the only thing I could think of like JRPG wise would be like Grandia.
Yeah, true. That was on there. That would be cool. Grandia would be cool. But I think this Phantasy Star Online, just having the actual like
just for Max Chaos
again, just to because Phantasy Star Online 2 is actually pretty popular right now, so it would kind of.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the newer one that because apparently they've made another one for like the Japanese users, so it's updated, and I'm like, I might as well wait for that now.
Yes, you should, 100%.
So then, I guess going back to where we were, because somebody had to put us off track. So the one game that you want that's going to be announced and released next year, that's reasonable.
So this one kind of is twofold because
Madden 2022.
Can you stop fucking with this?
I hope it happens. Mine is Sonic Generations 2. And the reason being...
What's the 60th anniversary, so it would make sense.
It's also Sonic's 35th anniversary. And they've been announcing some.
Oh, sorry, it was Sega's 60th anniversry and Sonic's 35. Yeah, that's right.
It's Sonic's 30th. Sonic's 30th birthday next year.
Okay, yeah, that's when you said 60th and 35th, I was like, wait a second, that's not possible.
There's sorry, I'm thinking because Mario's at 35. That's where I got it mixed up.
Yeah, Mario's at 35. That's where I got it from.
So Sonic would be at 30th?
Yep.
Sonic is turning 30. It's the 30th, and for the 20th anniversary, they did Sonic Generations. So for the 30th would kind of make sense, plus next gen hardware. Obviously, like Sonic's not going to do anything fucking amazing with graphics and everything, but just to use the new hardware and actually have like no loading screens in a game that is supposed to be fast, that would help. Like
The
you know what I
game
mean?
got to go fast.
Yeah, but I feel like Sonic Generations 2, like a really good Sonic game again, because Generations was great. It's the only recent 3D Sonic I can think of that was actually decent. So
Are
for
you
them
trying to
bring
say that
that
Sonic
back
and the
have
Black Knight wasn't good?
I'm. This has been the VCR podcast. My name is Chris. I'm just.
I have heard that
What
Sonic
about
Colors is really good, but I think that was still more of a
Colors came out.
2D.
That Colors was right before Generations because there's actually a Colors level in Generations.
Hmm.
what about that Sonic Where Sonic game?
I hate you, but I think that also was before Generations. I don't
Yeah,
actually know.
Colors and Generations came in, and then you got Sonic Lost World, and then you got Sonic Boom, and then we got back to where we are now with Sonic Mania, and then they ruined it again with Sonic Forces
Forces,
Which one is the Where Sonic game again?
Unleashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or make a Sonic game and call it Sonic 21, just like Sonic 06, and make it just as shitty.
So
And make us pay full
instead,
price.
he kisses 2 girls this time.
Yep, threesome, do it.
Sonic
Both
becomes the
human.
new Duke Nukem.
One a human, one an
It's
actual
ass
animal
kicking
that's
time.
not like humanized at all. Like
Never
just a
mind.
straight
Big
up
the
animal.
Cat. Big the Cat. He's the real fucking pimp. Let's not kid ourselves.
Okay, now I'm actually changing my answer. I just want a Big the Cat fishing game, and I will actually play that a lot. That's it. That's all I want.
Froggy.
Froggy. That's all I
To
want.
be entirely honest, like in Sonic Adventure, that whole mini game where you were fishing with Big the Cat was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now imagine an entire game like that, and the game's $79.99 Canadian.
Shit. That might be
No,
I'll
affordable.
buy two.
That might be a good price.
I'll buy the special edition for $120, where Froggy is silver instead of green.
Oh.
Chris, I want you to go get psychologically checked because I think your cold has made you brain dead.
Speaking of special
Yeah, this is-
editions, how the fuck did they, like, if they knew they were going to make a Spider Cat, why the hell isn't there, like, a little, like, Spider Cat mask that you can buy as, like, a special edition for your cats? What a fuck.
Spider
You want to
Cat
talk about missed
figurine.
opportunities.
Yeah, for your cat, that'd be pretty cool. $500 edition, you actually get Spider Cat training for your cat. A year's
That's a
worth of
bad
training
idea.
class.
You don't want to, your cat already wants to kill you. Don't give him, like, actual methods.
This is true. This is true.
So,
Well, I guess that just leaves
yeah,
me
so
then.
Sonic Generations 2. Yeah.
So
Radical.
this one, I'm honestly surprised hasn't been done because EA loves the opportunity to make money and make more money. Now, granted, they actually, oddly enough, they just announced a new expansion pack for this game today. But
Madden 2021.
I'm genuinely
good.
shocked that, especially now with the new console about to come out with better graphics and obviously some faster processing power, that we haven't at this point still heard the Sims 5 being announced.
Oh, yeah.
So I
yeah.
fully expect, and I want really badly actually, a Sims 5 because I'm now getting to the point, because I'm playing Sims 4 again all over again, so I've got the bug again. And the more and more I look at this game, I'm like, man, this game is so dated. I can't wait for a game that's much sharper and much better on the graphics. And I don't want it to go realistic. I like the style that they have because it's almost like a pseudo-anime style.
Yep.
So it works nicely.
I think the style that they should stick with is the GTA 5 style.
I want the Sims game to stop being a point and click. I want it to be a straight up, you can walk around and dictate things. That's what I
yeah.
really want.
That'd be good.
Hmm.
Or even both. You can do point and click, but then you press one button, and now you're actually just in control of.
Yeah, I would like the idea of
it's
just being able to
another
move my
person.
character, because sometimes it's just like, man, like, I know, so, like, yeah, because some people just have it on in the background and just watch the insanity unfold. But in my case, I like it because, again, like, this is a part of me that's existed all the way since I was like 16 years old in high school. Like, I love the role playing aspect of stuff, so I love the creating of stories and all these little things here. Like, I'm still filling out my world right now in Sims 4 and just having these little intricate little things that are going on. So it's always fun like that. And I think if I have a little bit more, even more control, I would obviously take that. And Sims 4, like, I remember playing Sims 3 a bunch, and Sims 3 was definitely a much better game. Sims 4 just it was a fresher coat of paint, but they tried to dumb it down a bit. So I would like to see a bit more like freedom and complexity back into those games. I've heard rumors that it is in development, so who knows? Maybe I'm onto something here. But if there's one game that's like within definite reason, that's the one for me, because otherwise, like,
I feel like if they were to make it, it's going to be out late in the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. It would be towards the holidays, and I still wouldn't get it that year anyway, because I'd rather wait for.
To be totally honest, I think that would be a brilliant idea, because so many people, so many even like just casual, laid back gamers played that because it was just fun for them.
Dude, The Sims is its own community. Like, legitimately, they are their own community where there are people that's all they do. They play that thing over and over and over with 1,000+ hours into it. And they create, like, it's its own thing. Like, there are some games out there that go beyond just being part of the gaming community as a whole. Like, they have legitimately their own subset.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I think that would be a brilliant idea for them to do. You'd be like, you know what? Let's do this, and because I don't want to say this, they can easily exploit people with it.
They already do.
Yeah,
it's just I'm surprised they haven't done a fresher coat of paint to get more people back in the fray again, because they announced a new winter vacation like expansion pack. And I'm like, sure, that's probably cool to like the few thousand people that are still deathly into it, but you're not going to get like hundreds of thousands of people back in like when the game first came out and everybody goes and buys it and buys that bit. Because there are different groups of people. There are the people that literally get everything and that's all they do. There are people that just get the base game and then they mess with it for a little while and they're done. There are people that get it at launch, probably buy a couple of expansion packs if it's stuff they really want, and then they're done. So I'm surprised that they haven't tried to put out a new game so that they can get a big chunk of money back in from all the new people and then hit them hard with a couple of expansions and then get that money and run and then go right back to their hardcore audience where it's a steadier flow, but a smaller, steadier flow.
That's true. How much do you think EA was kicking their own ass when right at the start of like the pandemic and lockdown that they didn't have a Sims 5 ready? Look how well,
or even like
did.
Quickly putting together like a pandemic pack.
Yeah, because if Sims 5 came out the same time as Animal Crossing, like just with the pandemic and like people needing that escape into a simulation style game, Sims 5 would have I would have bought it day one. I would have paid full price.
Well, that's why Animal Crossing did so well.
Yeah. And
like,
Sims 5, I think,
better than expected.
Well, Sims 5 would be an even better better version of Animal Crossing, because Sims 5 would at least be a lot more in realism. So that way you could kind of like play yourself. Because you can kind of do it in Animal Crossing, but let's be honest, it's not the same.
But also, Sims 5 would be on multiple things. It'd be on PC, consoles. They could probably even make it fit on Switch, because it's not a very graphics-heavy game.
It depends on what direction they go in, right?
Yeah, true. They could make like a lower resolution version for Switch.
Yeah.
But I mean,
if they could put The Witcher on it, they can figure out how to put a Sims game on it. So
yeah, they put that on everything. That Sims 5 would probably be the best-selling game of all time if it was released, March of this year.
I mean, like I said, Sims 5 is so much better than Animal Crossing because you can't woohoo in Animal Crossing.
But then, how do you get turnips in The Sims?
You don't. You just fuck people.
Go on.
I still remember playing Sims 3, and my character was having sex in the bed, and the baby that we had made was on fire on the floor.
Yeah, that sounds like The
and
Sims.
I was like, how?
So
I can't remember how this happened, but I'm okay we're here.
Is this Train Spotting the game?
Sure.
Kinda.
Okay.
Kinda.
Okay then.
But yeah, that's kind of the direction I went in, because there's a lot of other answers I could put in. Like, I'd love to see like PlayStation come back with something like, say, SOCOM and bring that back in, or like maybe, I mean, it probably would be in Japan, then it wouldn't be here the same year, but another Dragon Quest game could be possible.
Dragon Quest 12, yeah.
I don't know. Persona wouldn't happen yet. I mean, the Mass Effect Remastered Trilogy has been a rumor for like fucking 5 years. I'm surprised that still hasn't been announced. It keeps showing up on storefronts apparently, but they haven't announced it still.
Yeah.
I don't think they put out a new
Yeah,
Mass Effect. No, they're working on Dragon Age. What am I saying? They might get Dragon Age out. Actually, no, they said that's even years behind. That's another fucking stupid thing. Fucking EA. I'm trying to think of what else, and I'm not really coming with much else. I think that's why I'm glad that I had The Sims there in my back pocket.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2.
That's possible, but I'd say it's probably more next year at this point.
Kingdom Hearts 3.5, the final mix.
3.5? No,
third.
man, they got to have at least like 6 more games first before they package that.
Sorry,
it's like I said,
3.1.
the one game I want is a Dino Crisis remake. If I hear that PS5 is getting that, it'd be like,
And that's why I told you not had to be reasonable, because I knew that's what you'd go with.
Oh, I know. That's
because otherwise, me and Chris would be like Chrono game.
Oh,
Madden.
let it happen.
You know what? Another one that potentially could be done next year, is the Marvel vs. Capcom 4, because
Yeah, that's possible.
That is
Yeah.
possible, because essentially they're saying Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is not a part of the canon. It's like a Marvel vs. Capcom game, but it's not Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Marvel vs. Capcom 4 would be a different game.
You know it's not going to be possible though.
Madden.
GTA 6, because we have one more generation of GTA 5 to go, baby.
Yeah, 7 more years. A new
Now-
Bioshock game would be
Now, if GTA 6 gets announced and released in 2021, you're fucking welcome, everybody. You're welcome.
cool. Yeah.
I'll take that. You should totally subscribe to my channel for that. You should follow me on Twitch for that. And you should join the Discord, which, by the way, the link's in the description, both in Twitch and YouTube if you're watching on any of those things. So please go join our Discords.
Please join us. You can hear me and Adam. You can see me and Adam arguing for literally the stupidest shit possible.
Same goes for a Chrono game. If a Chrono game somehow gets announced in 2021, you're fucking welcome.
If it happens, you guys aren't seeing me in 2021. I'm
Oh, no,
too
we'll
busy
see you
playing
because
with
you'll want to
Chrono
talk endlessly about it.
Yes.
Actually, true. You will see me on the podcast.
Because who else am I going to talk about Chrono with?
This is true. This is true.
Any last thoughts? Otherwise, we're going to kick this shit out.
No, I got
No,
nothing.
that's it.
I think yeah, I really got nothing today.
Yeah, about an hour and a half. Actually, it was I guess it's not really that short of a podcast, but for us, it's pretty short. So
Yeah, this is almost a true length podcast.
I know,
It was.
right?
Look at that.
We can do it when there's like nothing to talk about, right? Even when there's nothing to talk about, we find a way to just make it take forever.
And we even added an extra topic with the Dreamcast.
You mean you did?
True.
Give yourself some credit, man. Come on. So with that being said, thank you so much for checking out the VCR podcast. If you were listening to this on an audio service instead of video, why? Because then you can't see our beautiful faces. Well, I guess only... Actually, you missed Spider-Cat's picture on this entire stream. How could you do that? How could you do that to Spider-Man?
Spider-Cat is my favorite.
It's just
I'm legitimately gonna if that's early in the game. It's like me with the Iron Spider costume in the original Spider-Man game. I'm just gonna be playing a Spider-Cat the entire time. Fuck that shit. I don't care about
Oh
any
yeah,
other
I'm not
costume.
taking that off. I don't care how
Oh,
weak it makes me.
as soon
I'm never
as
taking it off.
I got Iron Spider, I'm like, yep, this is my costume now.
Yeah, I didn't even care when they're like, "Here's Spider-Man with just his with boxers on." I'm like, "That's cool," but it's not Iron Spider. And then by the
Well,
end of
it's
the game,
also
it's like,
like-
"Here's the comic book version of it." I'm like, "That's really fucking cool," but it's kind of too late.
A lot of
actually
the
did that. I was
costumes
the
in
animated one.
game, though, they didn't add any special abilities. They were just aesthetics.
Oh yeah, but I like flew
Yeah,
around in it a little bit, but that was about it. But anyways, yeah, if you are listening to this on an audio service, please rate us a 5-star rating if you can. I mean, if it's 4, I mean, we'll take 4. We'll take 4. But otherwise, obviously share all the content with your friends as well. If you're listening to this or watching this, I should say, on Twitch, follow the stream. I do more than just this every Wednesday. I try to do a couple of streams every week. I do plan on getting back into Night in the Woods, and I'm not sure what other game I might fall back into. It depends on what's going on. I might go back to Fall Guys a little bit and play some Season 2, but we'll see where that goes from there. And then if you are watching on YouTube, of course, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content. Leave a comment below about how fucking terrible we are, because we know. We know. So with that being said,
We do.
thank you so much for checking out the show, and we will see you next week, and maybe Chris will be here in person in video form because you might want to see his face too.
And by
I'll be
then,
back. I
he's
won't be
either
beginner's class.
better or he's an absolute nemesis at that point.
Yeah, if I'm still bad, like, tell me to go to the hospital. Like, this is. Be a
I
long
mean, you had
time.
a negative COVID test, so we hope that that's not it. So
Oh, good. It's just herpes. A whole lot.
No, Chris, we discussed it's just syphilis.
Oh,
like, come on.
syphilis. Right. It is syphilis.
Just
That's what it
just
was.
let Alex
the
know.
best of
We're
the sexually transmitted diseases.
Oh, 100%. It's the one everyone strives for.
Yeah.
What a weird way to end this podcast.
So, like every way we end the podcast, thank you so much for checking us out, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one.